This afternoon, you're listening to the Todd LaBorwit Show, Real Estate Radio and Sound Broadcast Network, WRC 1260 AM. I'm your host, Todd LaBorwit. This segment is brought to you by Topaz Mortgage, our preferred partner for mortgage brokering. And in with us in the studio is Ann Banville. She's with Caron Treatment Centers. Well, not directly, more indirectly on the fundraising side. And you have a huge gala coming up, and you got some I don't know. I'll let you tell the story.
Thank you, Todd. Yes, I do work with Caron Treatment Centers here in the Washington, D.C. area. Caron is the nation's largest drug and alcohol treatment center. And in Washington, D.C., there is a Washington office of Caron. And what we do, and I'm a volunteer with the organization, I work on the D.C. advisory group for Caron. And what we do is we raise awareness of Caron's events and Caron's ability to offer treatment for people in need. And we do have this gala coming up October 9th. It's a dinner, and it raises funds so that people in our area can receive treatment, people who otherwise could not afford to receive treatment. And it's also a good time to talk about it because September is National Recovery Month.
Oh, wow.
And we know that addiction touches just every family here in the Washington, D.C. area. Most every family has had an experience with addiction, drug, alcohol. And a lot of people, therefore, know what the problem looks like, know what addiction looks like, but not a lot of people know what recovery is all about. So it's an opportunity for people like me to get up and talk about the fact that addiction is a disease. It's not a disgrace, and it's a highly treatable disease. And there are programs that are available for people with drug, alcohol problem. You know, now we're hearing a lot about prescription drug addiction.
Yes.
A lot. So, you know, that's another way. So people think, well, we don't really have alcoholism in the family, but a lot of people do have pill addiction or drug addiction from painkillers and things like that. So this is what makes up the whole addiction problem, and it impacts people's lives.
Now, Ann, we had on the show back in June 28th, Tara Handren. Right. She's Regional Vice President of the Caron Treatment Centers, yes. And we went into depth. We talked about how a loved one can help out somebody, and someone personally wanted to have help, and she shared her touching personal stories right. with herself and also with her father. If you need to see that clip, you can see the video clip over at the Todd LaBorwit Show, ToddLaborwit.com. And in the search box, put Caron, that's C-A-R-O-N, and Tara Handren's video segment will pop up, and you can look at the whole segment. It's very, very, very powerful. And as far as the gala,
yes,
is this in Pennsylvania or is this local?
It's right here in Washington, D.C., downtown, and it is on October 9th. And it starts in the evening around 7 p.m. And we welcome people to buy tickets and attend. And if they're not able to attend, then also to make a donation. And again, Caron gives away some $15 million in charity treatment care every year.
Oh, wow.
And about $1 million of that comes to this area to help people right here in Washington. And this is one primary way we raise funds for that care. So any and all awareness and donations, and please come attend. We'd love to have you there. It's a wonderful group of people. As I said, it's addiction is no respecter of economic status or gender or anything. And so recovery brings together the same group of people who have had recovery, many of them, and who want to, in fact, do things to help other people receive treatment. So a lot of these people will be there October 9th, and we would welcome having people in our community join us for that.
It's wonderful. Plus, it creates a setting because I'm assuming with the Gala, because it's rehab, there's no drinking there.
That's correct, yeah.
And to be able to go to a function dressed up and be able to have a good time. I mean, there's a lot of people I know that feel like, oh, I don't have a problem or this and that, but can you imagine going to a gala? There's no alcohol served. And I bet you could. I'd like to challenge our listeners out there. Come to our website. You'll look up Caron Treatment Centers with Ann Banville. This segment will be up there shortly, and sign up for the gala. I remember a personal story. I'm 41 now. I'm married, but a long time ago, I had a friend that was sober for about 15, 16 years at the time, and I was one of those guys going out to the clubs in D.C., and I always had to go in there and have a drink right away. So one time he challenged me. He goes, I want you to go out with me and not have one single drink. And the most amazing thing was not having that drink. It was like a muscle memory. I had a great time. I was dancing all night and I had nothing in me and I had the best time of my life. So if you've never experienced that, I'd like to do what my friend did to me and challenge you. Go to the gala. Support and see what's going on, because one, you're going to learn about yourself, and you're also going to learn about others and how you can help others that are actually in a worse or they're in trouble. They're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because I know people that are in trouble, and I know the ones that are doing it that aren't in trouble. Right. But I don't know when to step in. But it's a very strong organization, and it's good to be affiliated with this organization. Everyone has their favorite charity, but this is a charity that affects everyone personally, and it affects the people that are around you.
Thank you, Todd. It does affect everybody, and like we were saying, it is a treatable illness, and there is hope for people. Caron, for example, is a pioneer in the treatment of adolescent addiction. And that's something that I think makes a lot of people give and support Caron, because here are people who are in the brightest part of their lives and also in trouble. And then when they can get treatment and then pick up their lives and go on, it's a very wonderful thing to be a part of.
Perfect. Well, by the way, if you're just tuning in, I have with me Ann Banville with Caron Treatment Centers. And we're talking about the gala that's coming up October 9th. And I'm your host, Todd LaBorwit, and you're listening to Salem Broadcast Network, WRC 1260 AM. Now, it's interesting. How do we let our listeners know how we know each other?
Yeah, this is fun, because here we are talking about something that started way back some years ago. And when I actually came to Topaz Mortgage for a refinancing, and when you and I, it was the most painless refinancing I've ever been through, and I've been through a few. And more than that, we had fun. We had a very enjoyable experience. Who calls a real estate closing fun? But we did, and we stayed in touch. And I've just been delighted to watch the passages in your life and all that, and your daughter and so on. But more than that, Todd, I just want to say how much I appreciate, and Caron appreciates, the support that you've given treatment and the awareness that treatment is available in our community. Thank you very much for that. But
thank you for making it available.
It all started way back then when we had fun at a real estate closing.
And you're on a new course. You're retired now.
Yes.
How you having fun with that? I'm
having fun with that.
What's the highlight?
Well, the highlight so far is doing things like this, when I need to, and not having to be at work. But yeah, I did start I'm calling it a gap year. I left my professional life and I'm taking a little time to just sort of decide what's next, and having time to be with friends and family and do things like this, and certainly to use my position as a member of the D.C. Advisory Board with Caron to spread the word about awareness and treatment options for addiction.
Yeah, and also I remember we had a conversation when we started the show, and you were talking about some good ideas of the show, and it was your idea to come up with the zoning.
Okay.
Having someone come in and talk about the zoning in the area, because there are a lot of questions.
There are a lot of questions.
And you even had the ones with the town of Kensington.
Yeah, the town of Kensington, like many other areas in the greater area, have gone through a sector plan planning process. And that involves zoning questions and so on. I mean, this is a very wonderful place to live in this area and very popular. And there needed to be some sort of zoning or some sort of sector plan for how all this growth was going to happen. And that's really how we've been involved in Kensington the last few years, and that's what got me interested in the zoning side of things, too.
I mean, and we got a great show coming up. We got Jody Klein. He's a zoning attorney with Miller and Canby. And then you got the heavy hitter Gary Ditto over at Long and Foster's.
Yeah. Mr. Real Estate Kensington.
I know. Yeah. He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Great guy, too.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And he's done very, very much for the town of Kensington. He sponsors all our events and things like that. So he's a good guy.
And a question for you. You're a fan of the show. What's your advice for our listeners?
For listeners and for homeowners like me, get informed. Know what you're doing when it comes to buying and owning a home. And one of the fun ways to do that, and one of the best ways to do that, is to listen to this show and all the experts who are on here.
Thank you. I've even been learning a lot.
Yes.
I want to go on top of a mountain and shout everything I know. I'm actually might write a book. But thank you, Ann Banville with Caron Treatment Centers. Please attend the gala. Check out our website.